Now, what happens if, let's say, our student really wants to meet this attorney and really wants to be that person someday? Like that's their ideal. They meet them and they're like just kind of flustered and just want to get to know them, but don't really have a specific question. What are are there some typical questions like defaults that students can fall back on, like to ask the person about themselves in some way, or how did you get where you are, but like a better version of that?
Right. And that's the kind of questions you should ask, right? Just the general, especially if it is someone who is in a position that you see yourself. I have worksheets in my book where you try to figure this out. Like, where do I really want to be in 10 years, let's say, 5 years? And if it turns out from doing that inner work, this person is that, right? Then you're going to want to ask those questions. How did you get to where you are? How did you find yourself at the current firm? I call it PLE, place of legal employment. So it can be government, firm, public interest, whatever it is, right? How did you get there, really? What did it take to get there? What were your struggles? What are you proud of? And then I think one of the fun questions that I always tell students to ask is, if I worked for you, what assignment would you have given me this morning? And let them tell you, right? And that question is actually really powerful, right? Because it's not only does it give you information about what they're actually working on of that moment, but it also allows the person that you're interviewing, this partner or this successful attorney, to think in their mind for a second that you actually work for them. Just getting that visual in their mind, not that you even want that job there necessarily, but it brings you up to their level. It gets out of that imposter thing and makes you a professional on their level as well, if only for a second. It's very powerful.
Wow, that's great. It sounds like you've really walked through in depth exactly the step-by-step of how to go about this properly.
Yes, look, I've been in the trenches now for 4 years with hundreds of students, not just my physical students here at Southwestern or Loyola or USC where I currently teach, but all over the country. I've been helping people through this. I'm really passionate about it because, coming from big law, where I worked for 10 years at Jones Day, I've just seen, not just at Jones Day, but just generally a lot of unhappy lawyers, right? People who just sort of fell into it because they had the grades, they went to the right school, then they get the right job, but they never did this inner work to actually be happy. But then it's like the golden handcuffs, they're chained to it and they don't want to leave. And that can actually be a recipe for some misery, actually. And I'd like to avoid that for my students and for people. I think life's too short for that stuff.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.